Okay, hello again. And I managed to get a haircut, which I'm fairly pleased about. More pleased than you can know, actually. I've been not enjoying the long hair, it goes all over the place. While, while I'm kind of working out the sort of general format for these videos and what to do with them, you're going to have to bear with me. Like I said last night, you're going to have to bear with me, and um, because there's going to be all sorts of exploration of various topics, and you know, within that, like I've said to you in the past with the podcasts and the recordings and all of that on the Telegram group, feel free to throw topics at me if you find, if you think that there might be something of interest, or if you come across something that I say or something that I say triggers some thought in you, then let's discuss that. Put it on the table. You know, the best way to find answers to things is to put them on the table. Something that a lot of people don't like to do. It seems, nowadays anyway, there seems to be, or I seem to be being exposed to a good number of people that are hesitant to discuss things, put them on the table, and actually find an answer to it. Because there seems to be this underlying need to be right. That's a question in itself. Why am I being exposed, or why am I exposing myself to people of that ilk? There's an answer in there somewhere. I'll have to find it. I'm sure there's a lesson for me. Maybe for them, but for me. So, one of my fundamental thoughts about my, well, philosophy about life, I guess, is that asking questions is a valuable thing. It is the only way to find an answer and a way forward. And I think that it's the only way to explore this experience of life. And I guess that's why this direction, why I'm heading in this direction with the videos, and hopefully we can find some interesting stuff to talk about, or to think about, to explore, to find answers to. And while it's very easy to go down all these nebulous roads about the meaning of life, I think that some of you that are watching this, or certainly some of the people on, I would like to think the majority of the people on that Telegram group, on that Melanic Hour group, are pretty much beyond the airy-fairy meaning of life stuff. And you are trying to experience life for the experience, which pleases me, because that means I've actually managed to come across a number of people who are pretty much on the same wavelength as I. And I think with meeting more of those types of people, I maybe will enhance my experience. I guess that the main reason behind doing these videos, or any of the recordings or the writings that I have done in the past, is I think to leave some record behind. I've spoken in the past about having a plan, having a long-term plan beyond your existence, beyond my existence. What happens in 100 years' time when my body is dead, gone, worm food? What happens in 500 years' time? What happens in 1,000 years' time? What happens in 5 millennia? Is the human race still human? Is it is it if it's on the same path, if it's still on the same path in the very near future that it is now, I guess there's a good probability that it won't be in a couple of 100 years' time. I don't believe it will be as it is now. I think the humans are on a mission to self-extinguish. They're being lemmings at the moment. Anyway, let's hope that does change, and let's hope that this resource of the internet, because I see it as a huge resource, actually gets used, and some of the younger people actually take note and take to heart some of what is being done and said on the internet, because there's a lot of good stuff, even on this YouTube, even with all its censorship and stupidity. And I guess that's not the only place it's happening all over, but there's a lot of good, useful information being put out there. The only problem is having the time, enough time to absorb it all. And playing videos at double speed doesn't always help. Yeah. But for all that, there's a lot more potential out there online and in videos and in writing than people have ever been exposed to. And certainly children should be exposed to alternative means of thinking, alternative ways of thinking, more so now than ever before, because I think that's another problem that we have, is the school system, the programming system has become more and more refined and is not going to yield a good, sustainable result, or certainly not in terms that is good for the people being programmed. It sort of reminds me of that Matrix movie, or the series of. I saw a meme the other day about that, where Keanu Reeves was standing there in all his Matrix attire, and the caption at the bottom was, it wasn't a movie, it was a documentary. And I think that's pretty close. I think that's pretty close to the truth when you start exploring what's actually going on with people and youngsters, and the way they are influenced to think in a particular way, rather than to seek out ways of thinking and seek out ways of experiencing life. That they are pushed in a direction, in a particular direction, to become compliant and to just toe the line and get in that factory and do until you die. If you consider all of that that's going on around you, you should be concerned. I think you should anyway. I'm not quite sure where this is all going, but this line of thought anyway. I think the main message here is that I think the main reason for doing these things is this video, and what I'm hoping will come afterwards is to really provide some means, some contrast in thought, and hopefully that the younger people that come after me, us, any one of us that try and think alternatively or rationally, or not within the norm, the narrative, that there is some record left for them to follow, so that perhaps in the future, long beyond us, me certainly, that there is something more. I wonder if people think about that. I wonder how many people, I know some people that do think about that, but I wonder how many people think about when they are not here, when their time here is over when they've moved on. What comes after that? Has what they have done affected the future in a positive way? They'll never get to see it. But how many people think of that? Anyway, just a thought to ponder about. When I was still doing the radio stint with Paul, I started a website. I haven't finished it yet, but I will launch it in the near future. And part of it was to do with exactly this. And it was called, the URL was deathcoach.co.za. It's not up yet, so don't go and look at it. But when it goes live, I'll let you know, because there'll be some content on there to do with death and life and thinking, and the continuation, maybe leaving some type of legacy, doing something now that will stand in good stead, your offspring, that they might have a better chance. So that's going to be a bit of a fun project. Anyway, with all the disruption in the day, I thought I would just quickly throw this together and waffle on a bit and get used to doing the whole recording thing. Again, if there are suggestions, please throw them at me. I'm very happy to listen to suggestions, criticism, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. And yeah, I'll try and do another one of these in another day or two.